Hello, everyone, and welcome to this first class of the second partial. And in this second partial, as I said earlier at the beginning of the course, we're going to focus more on environmental issues because the first partial was more about social issues, so the social perspective from the sustainability perspective, sorry. So now we're going to focus on environmental issues. And in this first class, I want to talk about a little bit about what's going on with environmental issues. And we are going to focus first on the quantitative perspective because similar to what we did in the first partial, where we learned how to report on certain issues with employees, such as pensions. We are going to do the same in this partial. We are going to start the partial with the quantitative perspective, and we are going to learn how to report from the specific environmental issues. And it's a bit different because I think environmental issues are not that, how can I say, are not that relevant in neither IFRS or US GAAP or NIF at all. Even I was trying to just using the Control F in every financial accounting book, and I couldn't find too much using the word environment. So apparently for financial accounting, there's not a lot about environments, and that's kind of, I would say it's kind of weird, right? It's not the best for what's going on in the world. So we're going to learn a couple of techniques that we need to refresh. I think you already know a little bit, but I think this partial we're going to focus more on the report, on the sustainability report. That's the qualitative part that you learned earlier, also for employees. But now we're in second partial, we're going to focus more on the qualitative side. So in this class, it's all about quantitative. Qualitative will start from the next week, but in this class, we're going to start with quantitative. So I said a couple of techniques because basically what it is in the accounting standards so far are mainly these two issues. First, when we have a liability attached to a long-term asset, I will explain this in more detail, but it refers when you have the obligation to do something in terms of environment, but in the future. I will talk about this later. And then we also have another issue, which is related to expenses that are also linked with a source of income. So it's kind of, this is more like short term and this is more like long term, but it's a liability or an expense that is tied or linked to an asset or to a source of income. I will explain more in the next video. And, and another important thing, it says that, or maybe this is like a critique. There is not a specific standard, an accounting standard for reporting on environmental intangible assets, for example, or investments or savings. Like imagine that you are a company that is changing the way in which you produce energy, like electricity, and if there is not like an economic impact, then it's not possible to report on that, which I think it's wrong at some level. I think there should be something where companies can report intangible assets related to sustainability and in this case environmental issues, and then the companies can be able to do something about it. And also, some companies have gained their advantage, their competitive advantages through environmental actions, and also accounting standards are not, I don't know how to say it, are not up to date, and they don't permit accounting for a competitive advantage in terms of environmental investments or environmental advancements or something like that. So I think there is a lot of work in here. There are a lot of things going on. Like I was looking at the Kieso book from 7 years ago, in 2013, something like that. And I couldn't find, I think I only found like one page. And the new version, it has like 20 pages that talk about environment. Still not enough, but you can see the trend. Like in the last 7 years, there is an increase of 19 pages in our book. So it's something that's going on sadly, slowly, but something that we need to take into consideration. So I will explain in the next videos these two things, and then we are going to do 2 exercises where we put this into practice, and then you will have to complete an activity where you will put into practice all of this, and then later on, it's only the homework.